Hey there, I'm Willem from RNA Cycles West Coast, and today we're going to cover the installation of tubeless tires. This video is sponsored by ASOS Cycling Apparel and Muck-Off, sealants, cleaners, and bike maintenance supplies, which we'll be using for the install in this video. Materials and tools necessary for this install include a Schwalbe G1 Byte tubeless compatible gravel tire per manufacturer spec for the wheel we're using, Muck-Off brand tubeless tape, tire sealant, and valve stems, cutting device, in this case razor blade, tire lever, tubeless sealant injector, alcohol or similar cleaning agent with a rag, and a Blackburn branded chamber tubeless floor pump. And of course, a wheel. In this case, a Zip 303S wheel with a carbon fiber hookless rim. If we were to cut this rim in half, the shape we would find would look something like this. An A-shaped cross section. Here we see the tire mounted to the rim. We can see the beads here where the edges of the tire lock onto the hooks of the rim. In this picture, we can see a conventional system where an inner tube inflates the tire. The goal of tubeless is to eliminate the tube. Leaving just a rim, a tire, and a tubeless valve. A sealed chamber, similar to your car. No inner tube, just a rim and a tire. It is important to note that this wheel uses a hookless bead rather than a hooked bead with most conventional wheels. This will greatly affect the compatibility of tires that you can use on this rim, and it's suggested to refer to manufacturer specifications for the correct tire fitment. Once you've verified compatibility of the rim and tire according to manufacturer's specification, the next step is to clean the rim to ensure proper adhesion of the rim tape. In this case, I'm using isopropyl alcohol. Next, we will apply the tubeless rim tape. One of the most important things is to make sure you have overlap where your valve stem section is. If the tape ends up being too narrow, as in this case, feel free to do multiple laps around the rim until we have complete coverage from bead to bead. The next step is to create an incision where we can insert the tubeless valve stem. Locate the hole for the valve stem. Using your razor blade and being careful not to cut yourself, create a plus-shaped incision in the rim tape. Along with these sweet stickers, Muck-Off conveniently includes different grommet shapes to ensure proper seal and adhesion to the rim profile with the valve stem. In this case, I've chosen an arc-shaped grommet. Simply remove the valve cap along with the nut and seal. And insert the valve stem into the hole we created earlier. Reinstall the rubber seal along with the lock washer. Be sure to tighten down firmly, as we want to prevent sealant or air from leaking into the valve stem hole inside of the rim. So, we've properly cleaned the rim surface. We've installed the tubeless tape adhering to the profile of the rim to ensure no leaks, and we've installed our valve stem. Now, it's time to put on the tire. Keeping in mind the rotation of the tire, this being the orientation for the front, we mount the tire to the rim. Both for aesthetic reasons and to make it easier to locate the valve stem when inflating the tire, I like to line up the logo of the tire with the valve stem. Notice that I'm pulling the tire on towards myself. That's because there's more strength in 4 fingers than in 1 thumb. If you're not strong enough to get the tire on, you can always finish it off with a tire lever. And repeat. So the tire's been mounted to the rim. To get it to inflate and bead, we're going to need a large burst of air. If you're lucky enough to have a compressor, that would be my first choice. In some desperate situations, if you lack facilities or tools, you can use a large burst of air from a CO2 cartridge to inflate a tire. In this case, we're going to be using the Blackburn chamber tubeless floor pump. It uses a large chamber of air which is charged up from the pump. We then release a lever which will release a burst of air into the tire. In addition to the handy bits that are included in the muck-off valveless tube set, is this valve core removing valve cap. We're going to use that to remove the valve core. Removing the valve core from the valve stem will give us the highest rate of airflow without impediment. That'll also provide us the best chance for beating this tire onto the rim with a large blast of air. So now we're going to hook up our Blackburn tubeless air chamber pump to the valve stem, no valve core. Up is the lock position. And we're going to pump up the tubeless air canister to sufficient volume so that a large burst of air will hopefully bead the tire into the rim. Let's release this lever and see if it works. And success. The tire is beaded onto the rim. To ensure that a tire is 100% sealed to a rim, sometimes I'll let it sit with a dry seal, meaning no sealant, for a couple minutes. Looks like this tire is holding air. So the next step is to remove the valve core and inject the sealant. Some brands necessitate the use of a tubeless sealant injector. In the case of Muck-Off brand sealant, the bag itself has the same diameter nozzle as the valve stem. And on the back side, there's a nifty chart for measuring how much you've squirted into the tire. When inflating the tire, always adhere to the published PSI rating which is printed or molded on the casing of the tire. Furthermore, we want to make sure that the bead, the line you see where the intersection of the tire and the rim is fully set. In this case, it's not fully set on this rim. As I air it up, you'll notice it snap into place. So we did it. We successfully set up our wheel tubeless. Now we can enjoy the benefits of running lower tire pressure, more traction, more comfort, and also some puncture resistance from the sealant that's inside. Don't forget, all of the items that you saw used in the video are available on the RA Cycles website. And thanks for watching.